Hi, my name is Rubidium. Welcome to a new series we're doing called Learning Curve. We're going to look at a variety of film technologies and tools and work out how long it takes to go from an absolute beginner to a basic proficiency, and then what the journey is from a basic proficiency to something that you can earn money with, something that you can charge for. This week, we're looking at the Steadicam.
Hi, I'm Merlin Showalter. I'm a Steadicam operator.
Hello, I'm Asan Rose, and I'm a gimbal operator.
The biggest thing about getting into Steadicam operating is that there is a much higher learning curve than picking up a gimbal. The great thing about gimbals is that because you have the electronic motors, as long as you program it right and you balance it right and you have it set to the correct settings, it can do a lot of the work for you. The problem with Steadicam, but also one of the beautiful things about Steadicam, is that it's a lot in the technique. And so there is a lot more learning to properly balance it, just like a gimbal, but also learning how to control it by feel and by using your body. You might want to use a Steadicam over a gimbal in instances where you have a heavier camera or need to add a lot of accessories to your camera, so there's a greater payload in general. And there's also a lot of shots that Steadicam are more suited for, like walk and talks and long oneers. With technology, there are ways to have your gimbal on a body-mounted system, but there is something about the Steadicam with its body-mounted isoelastic arm that is able to get the smooth shots that are so iconic, and also a lot easier on the operator for long periods of time. One of the things you'll notice on gimbal footage is things might be well balanced in pan, tilt, and roll, but you'll still see a little bit of vertical bumping, stepping motion. And unless you've got really good control of your arms when you're handling a gimbal, you're still gonna see a little bit of your step in the footage. And one of the great things about Steadicam is that spring arm coming from your body to the sled, and that will isolate your body movements so you won't see any of that translation in the footage.
How much of it is like the technique versus the setup of the actual Steadicam?
You got to figure out the balancing, you got to figure out the setup and with things like drop time and dynamic and static balance before you even put on the rig. But once you're in the rig, then it's all about knowing how to use your body to properly start and stop the rig, and how to turn it without getting too much of any sort of canted angle, and also special moves like turning the rig backwards if you need to hastily move in one direction while the camera's facing another way, which is called Don Juan.
How long do you feel like it took you to master the Steadicam and really start charging for it?
Well, just to be clear, I definitely don't feel like I'm a master by like any stretch. I do feel confident offering up my services professionally, but like any instrument, it's an ongoing process, and I recommend anybody interested in this type of camera operation to find a mentor and to take lessons or go to one of the many workshops that are offered around the world. Been kind of upgrading piece by piece over several years, and now there's a good 20 grand worth of equipment just in stabilization, but it's all been over time. Yeah. So we'll try out a simple Steadicam shot and give it a go, and I'll show you a move that you can replicate and see how it goes, and maybe share some pointers.
I've never actually even put one of those vests on before, so I'm super excited to give it a go.
So great job. First time of ever flying a Steadicam. Very, very admirable effort. And I'd say you're on your way to becoming a bona fide Steadicam operator. I'd say just a few more hours in the rig is the biggest piece of advice I could give you, is just spending more time becoming one with the whole mechanism, because it's really a feel thing.
Yeah.
So Steadicam has become kind of the generic trademark for all body-mounted camera stabilizers. My particular stabilizer setup is from GlideCam. It's an X45, and I've been working my way up, upgrading one little piece at a time over several years.
So if I wanted to become a Steadicam operator myself, how much would it cost and where would I need to start?
Well, fortunately, because cameras are getting lighter and lighter, you don't need to necessarily get the full-blown 60, 80-pound capacity rig from the get-go. You can start off with something that'll handle the weight of the camera that you currently use, and they're made by a variety of manufacturers at this time. I personally use GlideCam deal, but you can expect to get started for, I'd say, $3,000 to $6,000.
So thanks again, Merlin. The Steadicam lesson was awesome. I'm super excited to test it out and try more stuff in the future with Steadicams.
My pleasure, Ace.
Yeah.